be celebrating her 63rd independence. The question is, where is the country among the Committee of Nations? Former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo is lamenting the inability of Nigeria to live up to expectations since independence, maintaining that the country has disappointed Africa and the world. Chief Obasanjo also blamed the nation's level of development on inconsistent policy by succeeding administrations. He was speaking virtually during the public presentation of a book by former Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, in Abuja.
Former ministers and heads of government parastatals, members of the diplomatic corps, and traditional rulers were some of the guests at the launch of the book, authored by the former Minister of Industries, Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, titled Reclaiming the Jewel of Africa. The book takes a look at how Nigeria can take its place amongst the Committee of Nations by adopting principles that will impact positively to its development. Two former presidents who spoke virtually allude to this fact, stating that policy consistency, its implementation and equity must be the watchword for any administration.
On October 7, 1960, Nigeria was referred to as giant in the sun. As at that time, the expectation of Africa and the rest of the world was for Nigeria to be a giant in the world. But over the past 63 years, we have not lived up to expectation. We have disappointed ourselves. We have disappointed Africa. We have disappointed the black race, and we have disappointed the world.
I'll say that the book is a resource on development and a pathway to progress, focusing on the solutions Nigeria needs in order to unleash its greatness for the good of our people.
President Bola Tinubu was represented at the event by the Special Advisor on Monetary Policy, Mr. Olawale Edun, and he highlights steps that must be taken for Nigeria to achieve self-reliance.
With concerted effort, Nigeria can stem the brain drain, and the initiatives to this end include investing substantially in education, research, technology, and that will create the enabling environment for growth and innovation. Also, by encouraging the implementation of competitive compensation packages and career advancement opportunities for professionals in critical sectors.
The author of the book speaks on what informed the title and urges the federal government to come up with policies that will make investments thrive.
Where you bring the best brain in Biafra in each of the sectors, economy, education, health and all that, working with people in Nigeria to deal with the issues we have in this country. That way we leverage on their knowledge, we leverage on their exposure, we leverage on their network and relationship. We need to build this country together as a people.
The book is then launched. The book provides questions and solutions to governance and how to better position the nation towards socio-economic development.
Meanwhile,
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever we're watching from. Trust we had an amazing night rest. Lord Larry, good morning to you. So yeah, welcome to another episode of our newspaper review this morning. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to click the subscription button, turn on your notification bell so as to get notified whenever we're live. And please don't forget to make use of the like button and your super chat. I saw today's newspaper review starting with this day newspaper. Police arrest 4 suspects in plot to attack Atiku and others. And PDP demands inquiry. Frank seeks security brief up around ex-VP. And House vows to recover a $9 billion gas flaring fines imposed on oil companies. And TUC gives federal government 2 weeks to conclude negotiation over subsidy. And from Obasanjo, Nigeria is sitting dangerously on keg of gunpowder. Says government driving people into poverty through poorly managed good policies, and declared nation as disappointed Africa world, and pride self on recruiting some of the best ends. And the image displayed the 13th annual GT Co-Autism Conference. And arms proliferation sustained by absence of punishment for offenders. And over to the Daily Sun newspaper. Anambra Joint Security Forces storm gunmen's den, arrest 9, recover vehicles, and protest works Benin City over for a price. Demonstrators say Tinubu government choking Nigerians to death. And President APC didn't promise overnight solution. This coming from Oshomole. And from Yakubu, INEC didn't receive direct funding from foreign development partners. And Tribunal modifies election of Labour Party's Okoli as reps member. Returns Elumelu, and reps rolled out 6 legislative agenda promise to prioritize healthcare, economic diversification. Can read that up on page 28. And NCE joined 50 other media groups, petitioners to endorse global principle for compensation by Google feedback. And in Kogi, again, hoodlums raised SDP Guba candidates campaign office. And still on the tribunal, INEC can't explain Tinubu's victory, claims Obi. Says 2 million votes from 18,000 polling units unclear. And PAP groups accuses Ndiomu of harassing staff after document leak. And on the Guardian newspaper, made in Nigeria smartphones fumble as monthly importation hits 50 billion naira. a breakdown of critical metals in a smartphone. That's the diagram you see on that page. So you can observe that when you get your guided newspaper. Apabio eyes constitutional rule for traditional rulers as Abbas commits to restructuring, and tribunal nullifies Labour Party candidates. Election declares PDP's Elumelu winner. I'm still in petrol subsidy, making palliatives work for the people. Can read that up on page 12. And still on that mass bearer, Amnesty International tackles Lagos government on identities of NSAS victims. And as creativity goes real under grooves of kids making pranks, Nigeria has failed African poorly implemented policies drive citizens to poverty. Obasanjo laments. And on the Punch newspaper, most Nigerian leaders' knowledge of development shadow is coming from Obasanjo. And from the forex crisis page, passengers ground as for airline hike fares. That's on page 19. And Navy won't stop running vessels ferrying stolen crude. And still on the subsidy pain, Labour talks tough. Also, protesters condemn relief plans. And some also say for a subsidy unintelligently removed, and LC meets today. And TUC reject 5% telecom tax. Planned tuition hike. Kwara Ogun roll out palliatives. And supervisors, invigilators selling wire questions online, arrested on trial. And pregnant women, children among Ondo tanker fire victims. This from an eyewitness. You can read that up on page 4 and 5. And 3 Onsu students hospitalized as gunmen open fire on barber's shop. Pray they survive it. On the Nigeria Tribune newspaper, police arrest for suspects over attempted attack on Atiku's residence, and one suspect confessed being on Boko Haram member. And Awolowo Dosumu to chair Odun's Investment Foundation Advisory Council as company set to launch foundation inaugurate council July 27. And Nigeria has disappointed itself. African word that's coming from Obasanjo. You can read that up on page 18. And Kwara government approves 10,000 naira for workers hazard allowances, 100% conmess for doctors. And first female Yoruba Professor Olutoye dies at 87. Tinubu pays tribute. How Tinubu can halt petrol price from eating 1,000 naira. This from an expert and on page 6. Say free market not synonymous with complete absence of regulation. And still on the web selection, tribunal sacks Labour Party. Okoli declares Elumelu winner. And 4 injured as 2 reps vow to recover over $9 billion gas failing levy from IECO's orders. and protests broke Benin over hardship caused by petrol price hike. That's an image you can see there, and you can read it up on page 25 of the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. And glory details of Ore petrol tanker explosion on page 28 of the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. And how pregnant woman, 3 children were caught in Inferno. 9-year-old boy trampled to death in ensuing melee. Mother sedated, and police confirmed 8 deaths. And on Daily Trust newspaper, please, if you're just coming across this channel, don't forget to click on the subscription button and turn on your notification bell. Then if you have any comments, you can join me here. Alright, so on the Daily Trust newspaper, Amnesty International asks Lagos to halt mass burial of 103 NSAS victims, and rising cost of living cripple businesses, households. This is coming from the NECA. And Gigawatt 6 recovering of encroached property in Kano. And on the road crashes, 4,387 killed in 6 months. And FCT Ogun Nasara top chart figures rise in second quarter, and speeding substandard tariffs break failure on major causes. And 307,554 violations recorded. That's coming from the FRSC, and all in page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And still on the palliative matters, we don't trust the process. This comes from TUC. And Kogi SDP governorship campaign office set ablaze, and police arrests 4 Boko Haram members plotting to attack Atiku's house. And students must have registered corps before graduation. That's coming from Uni Abuja. And on the Nation newspaper, Tinubu will fix insecurity, says Apabio. And Senate back rule for rulers. And how we will end sit at home by state government. That's on page 5. Kanu not in support. Resident doctors give condition to halt planned strike, and tribunal sacks Delta Labour Party reps for Elumelu. You can read that on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. And foreign inflows rise by 70% in the second quarter. And subsidy removal, the more states roll out palliatives. So Kwara, Ogun, Imo announces support for workers, citizens. Jigawa boosts farmers and others. And Trade Union Congress seek quick action, while industry shown discourse by experts. And Amnesty requests inquest into bodies for mass burial in Lagos. And with this, we've come to the end of the newspaper. Okay, now there's an update on the sit at home in the Biafra land. So Prime Minister Samuel Ekpa has admonished those in Enugu State. As we all know, the Enugu State governor has been giving them tough time, and from the information, he has placed a seal upon some stores who observe the sit at home. And here's what the Prime Minister said.
Good afternoon, fellow Biafran. Today is the 24th day of July 2023. I have just watched a very disturbing video of the governor of Enugu State, the illegitimate governor of Enugu State, ordering people to go and seal Biafran shop in Enugu. And I saw the video and I couldn't stand it. So on this note, I am mandating every Biafran in Enugu State to identify those who were sealing the shops of Biafrans in Enugu, and at the same time identify the office they came from, because I can see the inscription on their jacket. I want this information to be made public. We are going to seal their homes. We are going to seal their office. We are going to also make sure that Biafrans carry a heavy crusade on those locations. Good afternoon.
And today he has given permission that in Enugu State they can go back to their businesses. Here is the report.
All over the world. Good morning, fellow Biafrans. All over the world. Good morning, fellow Biafrans all over the world. This is the 25th day of July 2023. Right here from my situation room, I want to send a message to Biafrans in Enugu State. Rise up and go about your businesses. Go and open your shop and do your business. For those of you that the illegitimate governor has sealed your shop, go and unseal it. We, the Biafra people and Biafra Liberation Army, has mounted surveillance in the entire Enugu State. We want to monitor those who will come and evict you out of your shop. We want to encourage you to go out and open your shop and unseal them. Thank you. May God bless Biafra government in the homeland, and may God bless Biafra Republic government in exile. The only legitimate government that we have today in Biafra land is the Biafra government. Nigeria government is being evicted day by day. Thank you. May God bless you from this end.
All right, so with this, we've come to the end of today's newspaper review. So that's the update. And those in Enugu State, please just try and stay safe. All right, so do have an amazing day. Stay to it all same time tomorrow. Please, if you're yet to click on the like button, please don't fail to and send us a super chat.
All over the world. Good morning, fellow Biafrans all over the world. This is the 25th day of July 2023. Right here from my situation room, I want to send a message to Biafrans in Enugu State. Rise up and go about your businesses. Go and open your shop and do your business. For those of you that the illegitimate